Jared,
Sean,
you said you wanted to play this, and we actually already had, so...
Okay.
What the age? We're playing Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic. This time on the Xbox. The original.
Old school.
Yeah, this thing, I honestly am amazed this thing still works. I haven't touched this thing in close to almost 9 years.
You're welcome.
So, it works fine. I'm astounded. I had it packed away in storage, just in open air and everything still works perfectly. I'm pretty sure I could go out and kill a man with this and it would work fine.
You haven't turned this thing on in 9 years?
Damn near, yeah.
Fuck, dude.
I haven't played this game in 9 years. We tried this on PC and it worked, but we couldn't get it to good screen resolution.
Not really at all.
Well, we sort of didn't because somebody decided he wanted to be, I don't really like PC. So, what's going to happen is that as soon as this loads up, actually, I'm going to do it right now. Jared.
Woo!
Jared is now going to play, and I'm going to be the one who comments.
As soon as this shit loads.
As soon as it loads. Watch all the people in the comments be, oh, you should be on PC, it loads better.
Go check out our other video then, a-hole.
Actually, no, it did load better. It's just that this disc is really goddamn old, and I'm pretty sure it's scratched to shit.
Probably.
Oh, God. No, this is an awesome game, honestly.
We're gonna do a cutscene 4 hours later.
More or less. Have the French guy from SpongeBob.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, that's what you were doing? That didn't really sound French, but whatever. 2 hours later.
That was more on point.
Several hours later.
You know, speaking of French accents, it just dawned on me the other day when I was at work. I was in one of the showings of Beauty and the Beast, and, you know, they were supposed to be in France. Nobody. Like 3 people tried to put on a French accent. Everybody else just talked normal. It was like, what the?
Well, what were you expecting? Were you expecting everybody just to be going around, c'est alors, oh, mon ami.
Well, I mean, Emma Watson can do an English accent like an American.
That's because she's British.
No, I'm talking about like an American accent.
She can do an American accent fine. I mean, American accents aren't honestly that difficult. It's just the colloquial dialect you have to master.
Yeah,
and because there's just such a varied... I don't think this game's going to work. I don't think this game's going up.
Nah.
You want to just hold a little mini podcast then?
Let's see. While we're talking.
Well, we'll see. If it comes up, then it comes up. If not, then, you know, we might just release this as a little mini podcast. Sorry, everybody. But,
have some fun on us.
Yeah, if Jared won't eat into the mic, like this is some kind of weird ASMR video.
I'm starving. Leave me alone. It's a microwave pizza.
They don't care. Nobody cares. Well, since it's not going to work like this, and this is our one shooting time we have right now, let's do a little impromptu podcast.
Okay, I'm down.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's start with the obvious question. How did you get into wanting to do your videos on the internet?
Well, I always kind of like watch stupid stuff on the internet and like was putting it up. And then like one day I just had like massive success. Like I actually have had a video get close to a million views. Yeah. But within a week it was flagged for copyright infringement. And
what was it?
It was just it was like a song, like one of those videos where you put the lyrics with the song, and it got flagged for copyright infringement because somebody owned the rights to it.
So out of the two of us, one of us does game videos and you don't, and you're the one who's been flagged for copyright infringement long before you did movie reviews.
I know. Also, like, I use like clips and crap in our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. videos. Not flagged one time. Not one time. I use a freaking 3-minute song flag.
Well, I mean that just kind of goes without saying. If you use somebody else's material in a way that isn't authorized by them. I think little snippets of the show are fine. Again, I'm not super well versed in copyright law, so don't quote either of us on this. But
well, I know
there's a big thing about using X amount, and I think we skirt under the amount by using just the clips.
I think
in the Shield.
Well, like when everybody was doing the Suicide Squad reactions, this is before we even started doing those.
Right.
They had to edit their video to edit the song out that played during the trailer.
Well, yeah, Warner Brothers is like notoriously litigious about that crap. Mostly because they have so much stuff under their copyright placeholders.
A lot.
Yes. So why go with movies instead of creating your own content then?
Well, I mean, the ultimate end goal is to create our own content.
Do you want to expand on that?
Well, I didn't know how long we were keeping all this a secret.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we got nothing else to do right now. I mean, this was kind of the thing we were going to do, and then all of a sudden it went...
Yeah, true. Well,
that's going to look great on the on the capture.
For those of you, well, I guess this is kind of our surprise announcement. We've actually been working on 4 different movie ideas we've been kicking around, mini-series.
We've been kicking around a few different ideas for different things and talking about what we're going to do.
2 of them are definitely going to happen because it's not a high budget thing. Definitely.
Well, no, I'll bleep that. Nothing. We're not naming anything right now because we're obviously still very much in the planning stages. But yeah, why go with movies? I mean, instead of just like straight up TV shows.
I like to mix it up, and I've kind of seen where the views have fallen as far as like movies and TV shows, but a lot of our views really have surprised me and been very overwhelming. Like the Thor trailer, we're still getting views on that. We're almost at 3,000.
Really?
We're at 2.9K for views. We're at 2,900 views. Well, somewhere in 2,900.
For something that I basically just said, you know what? This just looks okay at best. And it looks like they're dropping the pretense of all the overbloated sins of the father and weight of responsibility and bullshit. That is really blown up.
I mean, and one of our most recent videos, we've gotten so much hate. We have almost 500 views on the Wonder Woman trailer reaction, and about 50 dislikes.
How many likes, though?
Like 2.
Oh.
We pissed off. And I went back and watched it. We didn't say anything derogatory towards Wonder Woman. It's just we said it didn't look fun.
The worst thing we said was from the reviews that we're seeing, this is just more of the same from what DC has given us.
Also, like I can tell they didn't watch the whole way through because they're like, oh, all you guys do is like crap on DC and you're Marvel fanboys. It's like we sat there for a good 2 minutes and talked about how we thought DC television is so much better.
Oh yeah, no, DC is killing it with their TV shows.
And
but therein lies the question.
No one fucking watched that. Apparently, like they just formed an opinion at 3 minutes and then shit on what we were saying.
Well, to be fair, for a trailer reaction, 3 minutes is usually where you clip it off at. But no, we went on for a good little bit about talking about DC. I didn't know it was getting that harsh.
It really is.
That's awful.
I mean, haters gonna hate.
I hate that phrase. This was actually brought up in an episode of Game Grumps that I watched earlier. Aaron was talking about how people say that phrase, haters gonna hate. It's like, yeah, but it still makes me feel bad. It's like, yeah, sure, people are going to be shitty, but it doesn't stop it from stinging.
I mean, I kind of like take it take it on the cheek. I expect DC fans are like fanboys. Like, obviously, what we're dealing with there are just so. There was this guy at the movie theater the other day, and I was trying to, they tell us upsell everything in the concession. This is before I went to bartending there.
It's a sales job, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, well, we have this Guardian of the Galaxy. He's like, no, man, it's not DC. I was like, really? That's your argument for not getting a cool souvenir cup based on a cup? It's like, man, I love DC's properties.
Right.
Like, pretty much my favorite comic hero is from DC.
You're probably the biggest Batman fan that I know of.
Well, Nightwing more so. Like,
Batman franchise, I should say.
I'm a huge Nightwing fan. He is my favorite superhero out of all of them. But, like, I'm not like a big Marvel person. Like, I know it doesn't really tell, but
out of the two of us, I would probably say I'm the bigger Marvel guy. But even then, I'll admit when they do some shitty stuff.
Yeah. I'm like, my favorite Marvel hero is Captain America. So
right.
I have a few others besides it, but even like Iron Man isn't in my top 5 favorite Marvel characters, and that's shocking to some people.
I can understand that. I mean,
because all they know is the movies, though.
I think that comes to the point where the movies are a lot of people's only exposure nowadays, and the comics are just something that is just too storied and too much of a legacy to slog through to try and understand all the backstory to.
Yeah, actually, I got tagged in a photo today. It was Batman sitting on the Watcher, or whatever that guy's called, who is basically knows everything in the DC universe.
Uatu the Watcher? Bald guy lives on the moon?
No, that's Marvel, man. DC.
Oh, DC.
He floats around in the chair, knows everything.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. They recently had a big story crossover multi-event where it's like Batman gained all ultimate knowledge.
Yeah, it was that actual picture where Batman was on that chair, and it was like when a comic book movie comes out and my non-comic friends have questions, and then it's Batman, I am a god now, and it was like, yes, that is exactly how I feel all the time with my non-comic friends.
It is nice to actually have that kind of knowledge about stuff and what you're doing.
Yeah, everything else in life, taxes. Nope, but I can tell you how many times Jason Todd got killed.
Well, that's knowledge to know, I guess.
It's been about like 3 times. And
I can tell you exactly how many times Jason Todd's been killed. About 3, maybe 4. I don't know.
Well, depending on your relaunches and rewrites and modification to history. I mean, technically, he didn't die at all, and he was barely dead, or,
right,
stupid.
Right.
Dude, Marvel brought back the one character I never thought would ever, ever, ever come back, and he's back.
Who's that?
Ben fucking Reilly.
Yeah, he was gone for a good long while, but they brought him back.
He was dead almost. Jason was dead pretty long, and Ben Reilly was dead about as long. Like, other people use the Scarlet Spider mantle, but it was never Ben Reilly, and now Ben Reilly's back somehow.
Who knows? I haven't kept up with comic books in a long while. I hate to say, I fell off for a good long while, right about the time DC... I've stopped reading Marvel for a long time before that. Right about the time Heroes Reborn came out.
Almost like 2 years ago.
Heroes Reborn was the 90s, dude.
I was thinking of Heroes Reborn, the TV show.
No.
My bad.
I'm talking about the comic series, Heroes Reborn. I stopped reading about that time because I was just like, this is dumb. And fortunately, I found out years later, a lot of people shared that sentiment, and they were like, no, Heroes Reborn was pile of shit. And I was like, oh, okay, so I did the right thing. And they're like, no, you really didn't. You should have stuck with it a little bit longer because it would have gone fine. And I was just like, oh, shit. All right. So I sort of picked up again probably about 2000s, and I figured, I'll start with some X-Men related material. They're usually the ones that are the big movers and shakers, widely known to affect things. And so I was like, all right. And I was in a flea market, and I was like, maybe I should start around the time this happened. So I picked up X-Force #1.
Oh, wow.
Which is it the first? I want to say it was X-Force #1. It was the first appearance of Deadpool. Because, and I just looked at it, I was like, it's a very interesting character design they've got there. He looks like he should be an X-Men, but he's not.
Deadpool's way older than that.
No, I know. I got a comic from around the time period where Heroes Reborn was happening, but it wasn't affecting a whole lot of things.
Oh, okay.
And like I say, I think this is about 1991, 92? I forget exactly. And I've long since lost the comic. I really wish I hadn't, because the guy who wrote the miniseries, Circle Chase, which I picked up shortly after because I liked the character so much, and I found out he had his own little miniseries, and I'm like, all right, sweet, I'll check this out. And I want to say the lead writer was at the Comic-Con I was at in Hawaii when I went to go visit my brother. Was there, and I really wanted him to sign that for me, because it was one of those things, is like, this really helped me get back into reading comics.
That would have been pretty sweet.
It would have been, and I was very, very angry that I couldn't find a decent copy of it, because the ones I had were already used at that point.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any Mylar bags, and so when I boxed them up, I stored them, and unfortunately it rained.
Oh.
Yeah, and so they were all like molded together, and I was like, God damn it! And I was super pissed, but yeah, I didn't get to meet him, but I sort of did, so
that's fun. Comic-Cons are always a fun experience. I'm kind of excited for the one I'm about to go to this weekend. The voice of Optimus Primal will be there.
Neat.
And that was really kind of my first introduction into Transformers, was Beast Wars.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I was the original one. I vaguely remember, and I've gone back and watched since then, but the one like where, I was young enough, but I was old enough to where I started retaining a decent memory of things and like TV shows, that was it. It was Beast Wars. And he was the voice of Optimus throughout four Transformers series. He did the 4 following that. It was Beast Wars, and then the spinoff from Beast Wars, and then like
Beast Machines.
Yeah, and then Transformers.
I can't believe I remember that shit.
Then Transformers like Cybertron or Energon or something like that, and the one after that. And then the guy who is most famous for doing Optimus came back.
Peter Cullen, yeah.
Yeah, he started doing it again.
That's kind of neat. I never knew you started with Beast Wars.
I did start with Beast Wars.
I grew up kind of broke as a kid, so basically my mom was like, hey, I found all these VHS things that somebody recorded, and like their kid died or some shit, I don't remember, but they're like, here's some cartoons, and I was like, all right, sure, why not? And it was like G.I. Joe and Transformers, and I was like, Jesus, this shit's awesome.
I remember recording cartoons I recorded Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh man.
The guy
what was your first anime experience then?
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z?
Dragon Ball Z. The earliest I can remember.
I
was never a big Sailor Moon person, but I do
Right.
remember Sailor Moon. Also, weirdly enough, this one sticks in there too. I don't remember if Dragon Ball Z was first or if this was first. Ronin Warriors. I have the whole series on a drive right now. I love that show.
Well, this is kind of interesting because we're like basically 3 years apart, maybe age-wise.
Yeah, I'm 28 in like 2 months.
Yeah, we're about 3 years apart then, and that's really interesting because we would have grown up basically around the same television frame of what all you were watching, and I very much had the older stuff. I had stuff like from when I was before I was born and when I was born in the 80s that I grew up with, and so I very much more identify with the people who grew up during that time frame than like you do. With
I am your very classic 90s kid.
Yeah, you are, honestly. I'm amazed you don't have a Rob Liefeld poster in your room. But
like, I remember, like, I was walking around one day with like my hat on backwards, and you're like, "You're such a fucking 90s kid, Jared." Like,
all you needed were a pair of Ray-Bans on. No, I remember that day. But yeah, my first experience to anime, I have two really. I remember vaguely watching Speed Racer as a kid.
I saw Speed Racer.
It's one of those things you watch for nostalgic purposes because it's not holed up well.
Yeah, I vaguely remember Voltron as well.
Voltron, I discovered, I think when I was about 8 or 9, later in life, I remember. I discovered Voltron. My first real exposure, I think, that really struck with me was Sci-Fi Channel's Saturday morning anime. Way back in the day, I would when I would visit my dad or whatever, Sci-Fi Channel used to run anime movies early in the morning.
Oh.
And one of the first ones I watched that really got me interested in knowing what the hell is going on with the story in an anime movie was, I want to say it was Inara or Iniri. I don't know. I'll look it up and post a link in the description or on the screen. But I went back and I remember liking it when I was like 11 or 12. And I went back and watched it because I would hear about it, and I finally found a copy online. And I was like, all right, sweet, I'll watch this. I remember liking it. I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch? This movie's dog shit. And right about that time...
my first anime movie experience is much better than that.
Well, right about that time, like 2 days after I did that, I want to say I was like 13 maybe. I went and hung out with some friends, and they were watching Adult Swim. And I saw one that literally changed my perspective on absolutely everything. And it was my very first exposure to Cowboy Bebop. And at that point, I was like, I had heard about it, and I had always had in the back of my mind, it's a bunch of people talk about it, and I'm like, not everybody can say it's this good, and it be this good. And then I sat down and I watched it, and I was like, this is 100% as good as everyone has told me. I want to see everything this show has done. And it's not a perfect show by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a great enough show to make me realize this is something I want to know what happens with for the medium, basically for the rest of my life. And I've always tried to find something new in anime to keep me interested. Unfortunately, I haven't found a whole lot to like invest me for the entire series, but I've tried to find movies at least, and I've had some success in that.
My first, I will say this, my first anime movie turned out much better than yours because I can still go back and watch it and it still holds up every time. But it's a Miyazaki movie.
Which one?
Princess Mononoke.
That is a good one. I saw that one not long after I saw Cowboy Bebop, actually.
My dad like watched it with me. He's like, he was like, son, this is a little violent, but like that is when I had gotten into Star Wars, and like it had something about Star Wars.
Star Wars when I was like 8.
It had something about Star Wars like related to it, and it was like, oh, it says it's as good as Star Wars. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, it still holds up to this day.
My mother actually found that movie at our local video store. We had watched the first exposure to Miyazaki was My Neighbor Totoro, which that movie still blows my mind with its visual and just all around. What am I looking at in the best possible sense?
Yeah.
It's a great movie, and for anybody who hasn't seen it, it's very, very childish, but I think that's the point of it all.
So was Kiki's Delivery Service, and I love
to
the
a certain
shit out of that
extent.
movie.
I love Kiki's Delivery Service, but no, Kiki's Delivery Service I think is meant for a little bit more of an older audience than Totoro.
Yeah.
Totoro is very much a family-oriented movie. Kiki's Delivery Service is meant for a little bit more of an older audience. But yeah,
like
we'd watched,
which is definitely.
Oh yeah,
older.
no, Mononoke. We found that at the VHS at our local video store, and we were like, "Oh, I like Totoro," and I was like, oh, "Why not give it a try?" And we took it home, and we were like, and there's like people losing their arms and like monster gods, demon boars, and snake monsters, and god deers in the woods, and we're like, you know what? Somehow I don't think my 3-year-old brother's gonna get a lot of this. Even I'm sitting there looking at my mom, going, "What the fuck am I watching, Mom?" She's like, "I don't have a clue. You want to just stop this?" I'm like, "No, I want to see where it goes." But I watched it all the way through. I was like, "Well, it looked really impressive." I went back and watched it a while later. I was like, "This is actually a lot better than I remember." But even still, there's a lot of what the fuck am I looking at?
Pretty much. So, I mean, we've talked about our favorites. What's your least favorite anime?
Oh, God, there is a lot of my least favorites.
I do have a confession to make to you.
What's that?
I've never seen Cowboy Bebop all the way through. I've only seen a few episodes. And I don't think that look on your face says everything. The problem with me and Cowboy Bebop was I never could start it from the beginning. And everybody always tried to like tell me how good it was, but whenever they tried to show it to me, they always tried to show it to me like 6 or 7 episodes in, and I had no clue what the fuck was going on.
Actually, you don't really need to. That's one of the things I really like about Cowboy Bebop. Its narrative is constructed around a few very key points, but you don't have to follow the entirety of the series in order to understand those key points. Each episode usually is its own contained bubble. We'll start and end, and you'll be perfectly fine. It's a wonderful show. I have the Bandai video box set. You can't get that anymore.
I see it, John.
Very few people even know there is a Bandai box set. Most people have the Bandai single DVDs, which I have 4 of the 5, I think, stashed somewhere. I love this show. And I'm planning to get the Blu-ray from Funimation as soon as I have time and money. But I have it up there. You can watch it if you want.
I probably will.
We can make a night out of that the next time you're off.
I'm probably gonna get up on that. I'm not even gonna lie about it. It's just, it was one of those shows I really wanted to get into it. It's just like I had so many Cowboy Bebop fanboys like try to get me into it.
Yeah.
Like it was always one of those kind of forced situations.
You had the same problem I had, where everybody and their dog tells you how wonderful it is, and you're like, it can't be this good.
Well, like they were
so
sitting there trying to talk to me while I was trying to watch it.
Oh, yeah, no.
And it's just like, if I want to watch an anime, I want to sit by myself and watch it, unless I've already seen it or seen episodes of it and know what's going on. But for a world I've never like stepped into or known anything about, I'm gonna need to watch about 3 episodes, and you just shut the hell up so I could watch these episodes. And you know, I give every show about 3 episodes to catch me.
That's usually a good number too.
And it's like, okay, you're either gonna catch me or you're gonna lose me. Some shows that I've like found on the cusp, I extend that to 5, just in case it's like, you know, something's coming. It's because there's been like, yay, and then there's been like, well, this was okay, and this one was okay. The first one really sucked, but we'll keep going. And at 5 episodes, if they haven't pulled out anything amazing, I'm like, nope, I'm done.
That's about what you really should give shows. Well, guys, I'm sorry this has gone a little longer than we usually let it go for.
That's what happens when Knights
That's
of the
what
Old
happens.
Republic wouldn't love.
That's what happens when you don't work, stupid coat-hole. Well, guys,
right after we were talking about how great the Xbox was gonna work.
It's not the Xbox's fault. It's the game disc. It was the game disc is scratched all to hell. I thought it would work when it started up, and it didn't skip around or glitch up. So I was like, oh, all right, that's usually where it happens the most. So.
Nope, I'm on a loading screen because we are still looking at it 30 minutes later.
Yeah. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Maybe you gained a little insight into what we do, and how we do it, and why we do it, and
just who we are as people.
Yeah. If you thought this was any good, give it a like, share it around, and we'll see you back here next time, hopefully with an actual game.
All right, guys. Take it easy. Later.
Later.